I'm going to tell you about a strategy that I use to pretty much rewire my brain to stop using my phone, and that is to find your screen time triggers. This has been instrumental in helping me take my screen time from 5+ hours a day down to under 30 minutes. My name is Charlie. My goal is to help other young men overcome their digital addictions just like I did, and I want to help you out as well. There's 2 action steps in this video. First, you have to find your screen time triggers, and then secondly, you have to find an action to do to replace them. So we'll start with step 1, which is finding your triggers. A trigger in this case is anything that makes you want to scroll on your phone, play video games, whatever it is for you. It's usually some sort of negative emotion like boredom, stress, anxiety. For me, it was usually boredom. I'd be sitting around the house, nothing really to do, phone's right there. So I'm bored, pull out my phone, password, Instagram. 10 seconds after I get that feeling of boredom, I'm not bored anymore. Boredom was my trigger and the phone was the response. And then I did that a bunch of times every single day and wasted hours of my life. So your action step is to find your trigger and think about what is the device that you spend the most time on and what triggers it. Maybe it's just your phone like me and you're bored, but maybe it's video games and your trigger is that you don't want to do your homework or you're feeling anxious about your grades in school, so you hop on the game to forget about it. Take a moment to think about what your main trigger is, pause the video if you have to, and then write down your trigger and the activity that you do when you feel it. So either on a piece of paper or your notes app, go and write down boredom and then Instagram or whatever it is for you. Just start out with one. Maybe you scroll and you play video games, because I certainly did. But to reduce your screen time, you start out with the biggest problem you have and then you work down from there. Now that you have your trigger, you're going to have to interrupt the cycle of feeling that emotion like boredom and then doing the resulting action like going and scrolling Instagram. So this is how the cycle goes. The trigger is when you usually feel some negative emotion like boredom or stress, like I said. In my case, it was boredom. Then comes the action where you either pick up your phone and start scrolling or you start a game, and then you end up staying on there for a lot longer than you originally intended. Below that is the reward, where you get some sort of dopamine hit from the likes or messages or achievements on the game, the status you have, something that makes you like the activity that you're doing. That then results in a craving where your brain remembers the positive feeling you get and craves it again when the same negative trigger hits, and thus it creates a vicious cycle. This cycle ends up forming the habit, which is the basis of your addiction. So to break the habit, you are going to have to break this cycle. Specifically, what you have to interrupt is that part 2, the action part. You already know what your main action is since you clicked on this video, so we're going to replace this action, which is usually scrolling or video games, with a different action. Now, what you pick doesn't necessarily matter too much as long as it is really quick and not related to electronics. It can be going outside and going on a walk for 5 minutes. It can be dropping down and doing 10 push-ups, or even the one that I've been using lately is to just take 5 deep breaths and think about why am I going on my phone anyway, and remembering that it's for no good reason. So go pick one of those, make one up for yourself. It doesn't really matter. Just pick one right now and make sure it is something that you can do every single time. This is very important because if you don't have some sort of replacement, you're just gonna sit there being bored, which you most likely do not have the willpower to do for more than 2 or 3 weeks. The metaphor I like to use is like if you're pulling weeds out of your backyard, if you just pull them out and do nothing, they're gonna grow back. They only go away if you replace them with something else, and it's the exact same thing with a screen time addiction. Usually the time that we spend scrolling or gaming or whatever is a lot more than we originally intended it to be. If you can successfully turn your new action into a habit, you're not gonna have the same problem where you go overtime on it like you did with the old one on the phone. If your new action is 10 push-ups, let's say, you're not gonna just accidentally do 100 and lose track of time. No, you're gonna be aware exactly of what you're doing and for how long, and that is exactly how you should be with your phone, but it's really difficult to do that. The more that you can make a habit out of this new action and replace your old one, the less you're gonna accidentally wind up going on your phone or your computer. Please remember that when you're first starting out, you're not gonna just instantly do this new action every time. You're gonna slip up sometimes and end up scrolling. But as soon as you remember that you have to do that new action, you gotta stop scrolling and do it, and that still helps you to remember and retain this new habit. There's a reason that habits form over weeks and months, not just days, so stay consistent with your new action and do it as often as you can remember to, and notice that your screen time average will start to decline week after week. Good luck, bro.